All right, let's talk about Nvidia because it's led the charge once again this year. Shares up nearly 87% since January 1st. So can the chip giant sustain its momentum? Here to break it all down for us, we want to bring in Patrick Moorhead, Moor Insights and Strategy founder and CEO. Patrick, it's great to see you again. So talk to us just about what you're expecting to hear from Nvidia this week and whether or not you think it's going to live up to those lofty expectations.
Yeah, so every quarter we do this hand-wringing process because, as you said in the run-up, the stock has actually crushed it over the past year and a half here. So you have to be cautious about when is something going to happen. And I believe that, like we've seen the previous multiple quarters, the company is going to clearly beat expectations on top line and EPS, and will likely see a very positive guide. And I base a lot of this analysis on two or three core things, which is look at demand. Demand is off the rails. What's development risk? Somewhat low because Blackwell is very similar to the previous chip they had. And then there's manufacturing. There could be some risk in manufacturing from TSMC. And that would be the place to look.
Patrick, how long can other companies ride the coattails of Nvidia's AI demand mentions when they talk about just how much they're anticipated to continue to grow as a result of this newfound, perhaps, well of demand for generative AI?
There's going to be multiple AI infrastructure build-outs. And the first one we're seeing is amongst these hyperscalers, right? The Microsoft, the Googles, the Amazons. And that has at least another 18 months in it. And then what we're going to see is it branching out, which is to businesses and on-prem data centers. And you're going to see companies like Dell and IBM and HPE. And then you're going to see this PC wave, which interestingly enough, I think kicks off this week at the Microsoft Build Conference. And then you're going to have the smartphone AI build out. So there is a lot of room in this AI run up just on the infrastructure side, not even talking about the software and services.
Yeah, Patrick, talk to us a little bit more about the software services, the opportunity there, and then just in terms of those lofty expectations, kind of going back to what you started that first answer with, what do investors need to understand just about what that growth rate is going to probably look like from here on now if we do see a bit of a slowdown from those blow it out of the park type of numbers that we have certainly seen over the last several quarters?
Yeah, so related particularly to NVIDIA, I mean, you're going to see deep double-digit numbers, but for the rest of this build-out, we really haven't seen the pop, right? We saw a little bit of double-digit from companies like Amazon's AWS, right? You see markers like ServiceNow that are absolutely crushing it, but I think double-digit growth is in the cards, worst case for these companies.
You know, it's interesting because going forward from here, and especially looking throughout the rest of the year, a lot of companies who have either implemented plans for generative AI and plans to have it increase their workplace productivity or even to give solutions to customers. A lot of the central force and focus right now has been around some of the tech companies like where even Apple might be able to infuse this into their products as well. Should customers expect some massive wave of generative AI in consumer devices by this year?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. Today, we're going to see Microsoft talk about their AI PCs and what they're doing and how they're supporting it. We've seen Qualcomm get out there and talk about the AI smartphone. They announced a smartphone chip for that. We saw Samsung with the S24. We're going to see Apple play their card at their WWDC developer conference here in June. And I do believe that, and I'll repeat what I've said on your show and others, I'm expecting the start of a super cycle in the fourth quarter for these AI devices, which will inherently have generative AI capabilities.
So what does that mean then for these stock prices then, Patrick?
I think they have nothing to do but go up. I don't think they're baked in, particularly when it comes to companies like Apple HP, Dell, and even Lenovo and Samsung.
All right, Patrick Moorhead, who is the Moor Insights and Strategy founder, CEO, and chief analyst. Patrick, great to kick off the day with you. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Absolutely.